Everyone is back here. We are 36 gathering from all countries of South Asia and beyond. I give the word to our main host today, Raghda El Khalawani from Egypt.
I was so inspired. I visited all the breakout rooms and I was very inspired, energized, and also full of hope from all the discussions and also the diversity of the opinions that I think that really brings a lot of value and richness. And I'm sure that the harvest, which we will get into in a minute, will really showcase this. So I want to share with you now the stage and invite our hosts or our moderators in the other sense, and they were hosting the sessions to share the three commitment. And we start with group A. Maria, maybe you can help me with a moderator that was there, which is Anu. So please unmute yourself, share the three commitments, and we will go to every table to do exactly the same.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank organizers for giving me such a great opportunity. And I was moderating a breakout room number 1 that and our three commitment are like this. Commitment number 1, we need more committed youth young leaders in our country, in Asia, more empathy towards other, have a geopolitical vision, and also that to know what is happening around the world. And second commitment is that after the COVID-19, this situation, there is an agreement that health need to be given the utmost priority in every society to have a healthy and harmonious community. So additionally, it's our important to have our focus on ensuring peace, prosperity, and enough economic development as well. So having democratic society and a strong institution that give a voice to the youth is the most important, because we want a room for a lot of voices and perspective in our global community that need to be heard. And focusing here that in during this pandemic, many youth leaders are also youth leaders, and there is a lot of corruption. So it is most important to create this awareness that the young people should be informed and know about the health situation. And commitment number 3 is that there are many global challenges in relation to the global governance, and there are more and more radicalism that we must avoid them with the channels of participation and dialogue in the societies which continue for fighting for the human rights and for more and more democratic countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu, and we will collect this feedback from you from the sheet that we actually have access to try to make it concise. And our aim is actually to fit all these insights into an amazing design of a donut shape that we will hand over to the United Nations through a Viking ship, and we will explain about how can you follow that process at the end of this conference or the first session of it. Actually, we go to the second group, Maria. Again.
Yes, we are inviting Kechal to share how global community should be enabled. Looking forward to your perspective.
Thank you so much. So we discussed a lot of things, and from our conversation, the 3 things that we've agreed on is first bringing in policies that guarantee basic income, because we feel that is one thing that's going to make accessibility and reach out to many more people and make sure the basic needs of everybody are met. So that's the first point. The second point came in is around education and learning. We felt it's really important that all of us are learning well, growing well, and hence we propose that Create Learning Institute focus on alternative ways of learning, local, ancient wisdom, diverse and creative forms of learning can be included, which would include music, art, etc. And our third ask is of creating 30% representation of young people in decision making spaces, because we feel the moment we're a part of decision making spaces, we'll also be able to bring in insights and experiences from our own learnings, and we'll be able to innovate and keep up with the transitioning environment and bring in decisions that really make it important for all of us. And I can later on share the whiteboard, which includes all of these things with you over email. So that helps to document the entire process also.
Amazing.
Very concise. We really love it. And your group, actually, I joined for a little bit. You had a lot of discussions on the other 3 points as well, which we will take into consideration. And you had the whiteboard. It was very beautiful. Thanks. The moderators did an amazing job to tell everyone they really received the last minute email. I think that this event all came together in less than 2 weeks. But all of them did their homework. They studied with the donut economy and actually presented the points, but also enabled the conversations. There is a lot that has been said in the sessions that we will have for our reference to later on create this bigger message and place it on the different platforms that we will explain. We go to table breakout number 3, and I joined them the most, and they had a amazing venting, which I said that this is actually the purpose of the event, to vent and to speak up and to make our voice heard. But they also came up with amazing 3 conclusions that I yet to hear, actually. So I invite you. There's 2 beautiful moderators. So any of you that is joining in, please come forward.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Nishi. I was the moderator for Breakout Room 3. So we had a great session, and the 3 commitments that we came up with, first was education. And this does not exactly mean working on literacy, but actually on skill development. The second commitment that we came up with was gender equality, because especially in Asian countries, we see women and transgenders suffering a lot to get equal opportunities and equal rights. So the second thing was gender equality. And the third thing that we came up with was investing in new ideas. Like there are a lot of alternatives available in the market for, that are better for the environment and all, but there isn't enough investment in that. So as consumers and even as the leaders, people should invest in those ideas for the manufacturing to increase. So these were the 3 commitments that we came up with. Thank you.
That is pretty cool. And the discussions in the group were really extensive. It was a female dominant group, but you managed to also still tackle different points. And indeed, this is also through our teams who are working and also partners. I was very happy to see faces from familiar organizations like Connecting Dream Foundation and Mouthpiece and the other partners to share your work. It was really energetic group, which equally energetic to the group number 4. Anisha, you did a great job involving everyone with all the technical difficulties, and you also deepened the conversation on the number 3, which is it's not about that we are waiting for decision makers, but we are actually demanding them to support our visions, our ideas. So it is the shift of the paradigm of also we speaking up, coming forward with our commitments, and actually asking them to support this, rather the other way around of making decisions in isolation from this group of people. So Anisha, the table to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I identified 3 important points. The first point is we need to work together and think not for ourselves only, but for the greater good of the society. We have power to bring changes, but for that we need to identify the global challenges, and we need to respect and accept the difference between people region, nation, and countries. My second point is support requires for youth leaders. No conflict. We need to stop war to use war as weapon. Leaders are not cooperating. They need to think about humanity, and they need to build or frame good policy. And the final point is building peace and friendship at every society, nation, and worldwide requires. We need to stop internal conflict and overcome current challenges. Thank you.
So our vision for a healthy global community is that the global community is like has an advanced network and is like interconnected. And we also think that inclusiveness is really important, so that and that this community is also adaptable and flexible to the needs and the wants of the planets and humanity. We also think that it's important to have an equal access to help, in particular help to mental health. To manifest these visions, we think that we need to facilitate discussions and create an understanding very early. So in schools already, or even in schools. And we think that communities would be improved if we would take away elements that stop communities from being a destructive environment. And we believe that world leaders could improve financial systems so that the goals can be met. And we also believe that everybody should be part of the decision making, even people in small communities. And we think that every community should adhere and respect the rules of the UN.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And we would invite the second group around Lydion to share.
Yes, thanks a lot. And I would like to share, I'm very grateful. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for offering this platform to young leaders share their voice, opinions, and experiences. I had a great conversation in my group and discussion as well. It was very difficult to narrow it down into only 3 main points, because from the beginning we had topics such as participation, responsibility, communication, leadership, financial support, partnerships, transparency, sharing knowledge, respecting boundaries, creating incentives, enabling access to participating channels. But we did it. We have 3 main points that I would like to share with you. The first one, enabling access to social priorities, equal opportunities, and participating channels. The second one, empowering political, social, and economic means, respecting boundaries of our planet. And the third one, transparent leadership that enables participation, considering creativity and sustainable innovation in a balanced way. Yeah, this is from our group, and we thank you for the platform.
Much for your sharing. And then we have the third group that was moderated by Maria.
Hello. So we were focusing on the idea of connectedness, on connectivity on a global scale. And we had some really deep conversations on many big challenges that we face in the world, namely gender violence, corruption, education and the benefits of that. And we came up with 3 concluding ideas that we would like to present. The first was taking ownership, be that on a governmental level, on an NGO level, on an individual level, to take ownership of the projects that you take part in, of the stands you may take, of the things you do on a community-based level. So that was taking ownership. That was our first idea. Then the second was about youth, giving them a platform, a political voice, arming them with the tools that they require to be able to go ahead and take action within society. And the third was around education. So that kind of ties in with the previous point about the youth, but it doesn't have to be just limited to youth. It can also be just about society in general, about providing society with, I guess you can say, a honest depiction of what happens. And we also were talking about corruption a lot, so we can say that it was about also being transparent, providing money freely, and not violating these tools that are given to a community or a society. And those are the ones we concluded on. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we invite the fourth group in. Wow, that's such a rich harvest already, with Svetlana.
Yes. So extremely happy and empowered having not just a session like that in the smaller group, but in general now to be able to share that. We don't have like super mega conclusive ideas because we really dived into analyzing the empowerment as such. We had problems with it, with this work, because because it's not exactly, we wanted to be sure that when we talk about it, we're on the same page, that we understand what we mean by that. Yeah, but we, in all possible ways, I will try to now summarize it. And we talked a lot about investment. And when we talk about investment, it's probably the first thing that comes in your mind is money. And yes, it is also about the money, but we talked as well as about the energy, like initiatives. We talked about trust. We talked about some investment of, in people and in planet. And here our statements come along that we would like to ask global leaders to actually invest more in education. As simple as that. Not everywhere it's happening, and everywhere it's needed. So that would bring and solve many issues, as we thought in the group. And then invest regarding the planet. When you invest in the planet, it's to invest as simple as that in organic farming, to support those people who are out there really regenerating the very basis of our planet. And support those initiatives. And again, it is not just about the planet, invest in that research or invest in those actions, but it is again coming back to investing in people, and the focus should be on that. So investing in initiatives that are already there and plenty and many, and this whole assembly is a proof for that. So leaving up some restrictions, giving us more responsibilities, more trust, and more power in this sense. And then about choices as well, opportunities to actually choose and be able to decide what is happening with the money, let's say of European Union, or money of some funds have. So somehow to redirecting, it's already going to politics, but that's what we also touched. So the first statement or something we would demand is exactly somehow that we would be able to have a say as a generation of young leaders coming forward. So that we would be able to choose our, let it be leadership, or let it be influencing some decisions that are happening on a governmental level. Yeah, so somehow like that. And I'm pretty sure that when I will share the notes, and we will try to access all the, because we exchanged the emails, I don't know if we can do it and access our room chat, but we will definitely formulate it a bit further and communicate about that. So tomorrow we have material to work with. Yes, but it was a very inspiring discussion. Thank you very much.
Again, and thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to collaborate and to listen young leaders when they're raising their voices about solutions of global problems. And it was a great pleasure for me to discuss with them all the three questions, and I would like to present you the key statements about the answers to the question number 3. So when we discussed about these questions, we have been talking about importance of promoting proper education and teaching effective communication. Just because of the lack of communication, we cannot produce enough strong messages for the right audiences. And also using media properly for sending right messages for the right audiences, as the media is one of the strongest manipulators for our communities, for our governments. We would like also to focus on importance of using media properly in order to send right messages to right audiences. The second one is about using solution-oriented mindset to achieve SDGs, and also promoting of healthy mindset, because we can have enough resources, we can have great people, but if we don't have solution-oriented mindset, we cannot allocate these resources properly. And the third one is learning to cooperate, because there are a lot of organizations, they have the similar goals, but if they don't cooperate properly, we cannot achieve these ambitious goals together. And learning to cooperate and allocate resources properly, because we have these resources, but when we can invest those resources in scientists and engineers who can actually provide the sustainable and bright solutions for these environmental and social problems, we can actually solve these problems in a more effective way. Thank you so much for listening. It was a great pleasure for me to be a part of this great initiative.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. This is also, we know that we're going to ask you for sort of your written answers as well. And it's so exciting for us to bring this forward to the UN. And now we're going to listen to the second group. That's the Empowered group. Who's the moderator from the Empowered group?
That's me. I'm Sama, and I'm based in Denmark. I had a really good talk with awesome 4 people. We have 2 of them left here. And I really want to thank you guys. It was really great. So what I managed to get 3 action steps for all of the questions. 1, we would like startups to facilitate spaces for youth and elders to have intergenerational dialogues regarding the new world we live in. And the goal for this is to take from elders who have decades of experience in their personal and professional life, and to take youth who are ready to take action, youth who are insanely motivated to make a difference, and just need some pointers as well from elders. The second thing is that we want to create educational programs about Indigenous people and minorities, which will be accessible to all kinds of communities in the world. And those minorities will also be able to share their experiences and whatever knowledge can help build a bridge between everyone's differences. And the main goal is to give a voice to the voiceless. And the third thing, and last, is to have an accelerator program for environmental issues. So governments, have ideas for how to save the planet, but rarely have action-directed people to take care of these issues. So we would love to have NGOs who have the solutions and the people who want to take action. And the goal of this is to support NGOs in matching their solutions with the government. And overall, you know, the purpose of this is constantly to empower. So we're not just empowering youth, we're empowering communities, we're empowering societies, minorities that don't have a voice, and don't really have someone to speak for them. So that's what we believe the leaders of the world can do for us. And I think it starts today. So yeah, that was it. Thank you so much. And yeah, whenever possible, I will share these answers with everyone, however the host believes it should be done. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, you'll be informed about how to do that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
So powerful. So let's move on to the enabled group. We have the moderator from the enabled group. Someone is muted, maybe?
Hello.
Hi.
I think, hello. It's such an honor for me to participate in this event. Sorry, because of the confusion of time, I could not able to be at home. I'm outside, but we had a nice conversation with our group, and we come to some points which I think they are the key solutions for and visions for the problem of today's humanity. So we start by saying that our combined, just let me read for you what we have written down. Our combined vision for an embedded global community is the first for increased respect for diversity of humanity to be embraced by every individual, which would bridge for the divide of the ignorance, because we see that ignorance is the crucial problem of today's world. Secondly, for a greater sense of responsibility to be adopted by not only individuals, but also global players in a pursuit of change and adventure. Thirdly, deep respect of life is a crucial. Finally, we must acknowledge the lack of education and ignorance in everywhere. And for the answer of the third question, we the youth call the leaders of the nations that they should listen to the youth and involve them in the decision makings. They should be a key role player in the decisions of the decision makers. They should increase the leaders should increase the humanity, should choose humanity over the politics, and provide equal, decent life for all. They should feel the consequence of their decisions, not only locally for their community, but also in a global scale. And that was the points from our group. We had a nice conversation, and thank you so much. Again, it's an honor for me to be here with you, and I hope that this would be a key for a solution of our today's messy world. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, now it will. So that's good. Thank you so much for sharing and participating.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And the last group, Edie, the moderator from the Connected group, Connectivity.
Hi, I'm here. So thank you for this opportunity. I had a really wonderful discussion with some young people, and we were speaking on a connected global community. So we came to the conclusion, we came to the agreement that for a connected global community is one that is an inclusive society where young people with a shared purpose can contribute without any barriers hindering them from contributing to the progress and advancement of the global community. And the three major points that we highlighted were: one, transparency. That governments should be transparent with us, that all this hiding of information and shadiness going on creates a sort of discomfort and a sort of fear for the young people if we do not know exactly what is going on. So transparency, open source everything for us to know exactly what is out there and be able to appropriate it is very important for us. Also, linked to that is that they trust us to be able to take the right decisions, because we are full of so many ideas, bustling with energy, creativity, and initiative, and we just need an outlet for this. So be transparent and trust us to do what we have to do. Also, we highlighted the point of us young people not being treated as robots. We are living beings, so regulating every single thing about us goes against our natural inclination as social beings. So allow us, give us the free space to operate, and not to force us to do things always in a specific particular way, which hinders growth and does not permit the encourage creativity and initiative. And finally, moving away from selfish governance. That whatever way that you are governing should not just be because you have been put to govern, so you are doing it without seeing any proper measurable results, but governing in a way that empowers the people to move forward and to act. So these were the three major points that we highlighted. I'd be glad to forward them to the hosts. And thank you very much for this opportunity. Looking forward to participating in future sessions. Thank you.
Group healthy, top left. What were your key takeaways?
Oh, okay. So I'm the moderator. Hi, I'm Jennifer. So the key takeaways, meaning the three main points, or just?
That's it. Yes, that's what
So we had sort of a group of 5 people. I'll try to condense them into 3. We each sort of pitched. But there is a general thread in all of our solution pitching, is that there is a need for an educational platform where discussion, dialogues can happen, and relationship building surrounding global issues and also local issues, and as well as empowering a youth to share their art, and either through opportunities in which they can collaborate or inspire one another, and as well as platforms where discussion on how technology, sort of now a very major component of education, how can we have in-depth discussion on moralities that sort of guide where technology is heading, and then also how can we make sure that this platform reaches the intended audience of youth, and we touch based on this representing global youth, how there could be many more people showing up, right, if we actually was able to reach them. And so either using VR, AR, social media, gamification, like many of these things, can we make this platform also accessible? So that goes into like, okay, how do we implement? So, but in general is connecting this platform idea into education, and either making that accessible to institute or education globally, and that people can participate. That sort of is my most succinct summary of what I can come up with, what we discussed.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Jennifer. Quite some ideas there. Love to hear from the next group, going clockwise around the donut. Connected. What did you come up with?
Hi, everyone. Okay, I am the moderator of this session. And well, regarding the first question, I'm going to read. It's easier for me. Okay, our vision is a global community where there are not borders. Also, there's an Latin American, and yeah, that's 2. Thank you. Okay, our vision is a global community where there are no borders, also the physical borders of each country, where we are not alone, and there are spaces that allow people to raise their voices regarding social issues that affect all of us, in order to achieve agreements together to try to solve those issues. And in this global community, we will have the chance to raise awareness regarding the spiritual connections. Okay. So now about the second question. Okay. We are working, sharing our visions, working together, taking account each opinion from all the people of the communities that we work with. We support the leaders from the ground organizations that we work with, and we support indigenous leaders' visions because we think that they have a lot to teach us and we have a lot to learn from them. And we are working to try to fix the damage that we are causing to Mother Earth, especially of our friends from Ecuador. They have a strong opinion about this. And well, that's all from this second question. And the third last, we think that we need more representation in leadership. We need more financial support for the work that we are doing with the ground organizations. We need to create a new way. I mean, Heather said that we need to create a new system. I think is a little complicated, but it's not impossible. Maybe if we start to think about how to change a lot of things that only create damage and suffering in a lot of people. And we think that leaders must to value the culture and the knowledge of the original communities and make them part of the decisions making, you know, and that they have to create an agenda too that involves the whole community in the world. And that's all from us.
Beautiful, very meaningful also, and there's some synergy. We have an elder who joined us, Native American, listening in just as you were speaking. It's great. Thank you for sharing. Calling out the group of enabled, who would like to voice your suggestions to world leaders?
Yes, so that was a group that I was in, but I'm not gonna speak because we have people like obviously like the breakout room was with these like super smart, super intelligent 4 ladies that gave like so many insights about like so many things. So 2 of them are going to share some stuff. The first 2 statements will be shared by Matilda, and the third one will be shared by Renata.
Amazing.
Hi, I'm Matilda. So the things we discussed primarily, the first things that came in our discussion was regarding jobs.
Oh, did we lose Matilda?
Looks like.
I think we lost Matilda.
Okay.
Renata, do you want to jump in? Yes.
Yeah, I can jump in. So we were discussing jobs extensively and how a new, and tying into what the last speaker was mentioning, how to create new systems for jobs, cooperative development. Oh, she's back. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, my computer died, so I'm with my phone now. I'm sorry. So the very first thing we discussed was regarding jobs and how, first of all, we think every country should apply, for example, free healthcare, free security. So because that what secures people to have the opportunities to have jobs, to have education that will be later developed in the other point. But first of all, like supporting comparative development of jobs. So supporting comparative businesses.
like people offering their own services that do not add to a large corporation. Renata can later give a more precise example. So basically, every person to have the same base so as to get to the place we want to be in a society. And secondly, the second point we discussed was about education and the extreme importance, first of all, of education as a right. Like everyone here knows, education is a human right. So free education for everyone. And when it comes to education, like we all talked a lot about like the environmental impact that education can have in every single person, and how that can be transformed into our culture and into our ways of treating the earth. That is why we thought that environmental management should be a subject that is mandatory in every school curriculum, because it is of extreme relevance due to the fact that we have a clock. We do not have all the time of the world to tackle the issues that are going on in the planet. That is why it is of extreme importance to have a mandatory subject in the school curriculum for every kid and next generations to truly learn about environmental impacts. So now I give the voice to Renata.
Okay, thank you. And then for the aspect on how to create new systems and innovations, first of all, something we discussed was on product awareness and how much propaganda and publicity can be quite damaging into keeping people buying and this consumerism mindset. So having more regulations and more awareness into what can be promoted and how damaging this can be. Then the second part is on food sovereignty, how empowering people to grow their own food and communities to have this 0 mile basis of their own food gives them this freedom to not starve if they don't have a job, so then they can tap into their actual passions as to how they can go about the world in production. And the third part we touched briefly on is on open source technology. So how the ways of the future, what keeps us very much stuck on old systems of economics is the idea that one person develops that technology and they have to be compensated millions and millions and millions of dollars in order for this technology to be put into use. But we are seeing all these inventors and contributors from all over the world getting together to create open source technologies that are for the benefit of humanity. So then they can be actually targeted towards human needs and not corporation needs. So seeing real human need and putting that on top priority.
Wow, that's really powerful statements and very well articulated. Thank you, Renata, and thank you, Matilda, as well. Finally, the team of Empowered, let's hear your stories as well. Is that James? Yes.
It is indeed. Can you all hear me okay?
Perfect.
Fantastic. So I will try to articulate this as best as possible. The things that David, Jacqueline, and Emerson came up with were truly, truly fantastic. Some of them were around specifically allowing children and people in artistic senses to be able to express themselves fully. You know, perhaps not with the way institutions say that they should express themselves, but actually having the freedom to express themselves the fullest of their own desires. We also had David, who his project is to empower youth with skills relating to art and technology. So bringing this wisdom, this knowledge to children so they can take it into their societies, into their own communities, cultures, and places, so that they can then create that impact within those areas, which I thought was fantastic. And then Emerson also wants to show people, young people specifically, how to be informed about these health questions and economic questions in their countries, which I think is very, very important. And I believe the group agreed with that as well. You know, being able to allow young children to, and you know, going up through teens up into our early 20s and things, to be able to express themselves and give their opinions and ideas on the things that are coming up in the world, you know. And that was around our perhaps question 1 and 2, because 2, it seems that everybody is quite literally moving forward with this, which is amazing. And then number 3, which is around, you know, the world leaders and how can they help, was some very, very, very valid points. First of all is leaders listening, being empathetic, and acting according to that empathy, you know. And I think that especially around what it is that we discussed, you know, is understanding the very delicate balance between age and experience and intelligence and ego, you know, being able to listen, appreciate, understand, and explore every idea from every human, no matter of age, background, etc., and be able to then have a look and see the validity and the possibility of all aspects, you know, and really understanding that. And also, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but I will share it. I think that, you know, it's important for people to voice. Also understanding the importance of leaders adhering to their promises once they are elected and brought into a position. So perhaps that sounds more hostile than it should do. It's not supposed to, but, you know, it's important. I think that the group thinks, apologies, that if we are able to, you know, have this level of awareness and understanding and allowing people to stick to these, then real change can be made. So I hope that I fully allowed all of the 3 beautiful humans to express what they had to share. And if I missed anything, then please feel free, guys, or however you wish to do it. But that's what we went through in our section.